This is Play North, the Manitoba Games Show. The Manitoba Games, powered by Manitoba Hydro, are happening here in Thompson, Manitoba from March 4th to the 10th. It's the 9th today. We're in day 7, I think, of the Games. Phase number 2. Speed skating just sort of wrapping up for today. Joining me, Olympic medalist 3 times, Susan Auch is up here for the Games. Welcome to Thompson.
Thank you.
How has your Thompson experience been so far? You've been here for a couple days with us. It's freezing cold in here. we're up in the media booth. They're just collapsing the speed skating and getting figure skating going, but it's been beautiful outside. How's the experience been so far?
You know what? It's been great. I've never been up to Thompson. I've been in Churchill once, so being up north is always exciting for me. I think we have a fantastically beautiful country, and the Canadian North is amazing and unique, I think, in the world. So.
It's phenomenal. You're sort of doing, I don't know if you call this double duty, triple duty here at the Games, but you've got, your daughters are speed skating. Am I right with that one?
Yes, I have twin 13-year-olds. They're here skating in short track. Their 10-year-old sister also skates. She didn't make the team, but yeah, I'm a parent. I'm volunteer announcing, and on the side, I'm working. I'm the CEO of Speed Skating Canada as well, so it's a juggling act. Safe
to say pretty involved. How is it? So you've got your daughters out here skating. Is that more nerve-wracking than you skating yourself? How is it being a mom of watching your kids do something that you've spent so much time doing yourself?
Yeah, I don't get that nervous for them. I think this is just amazing learning experience for all the skaters here. It's the first time that speed skating has been in the Manitoba Games in many years, since the early 70s. I believe, if it's been in, I don't even know, but our skaters need every opportunity they can get to get experience in multi-sport games, and it's interesting. Yesterday, all of the top skaters in 3 of the races had tough luck, and so you see the nerves coming out a little bit more than even in our provincial championships. So it means something to these skaters, and this is great experience for them to get the cobwebs out for the next multi-sport games, which for them would be the Canada Games, and for some of them going on to the Olympic Games. It's multi-sport games are a big deal. They're different than any other games. They're distracting for skaters. They sleep with big groups of people, they see other sports, they cheer on their teams from other sports, and I think it's a really great experience for my kids. I'm loving watching. It's, of course, hard when my kids are racing and I want to cheer them on, and I have to stay
sort of
even.
Be impartial?
It's actually quite fun, though. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. So coming to a multi-sport event like this, you've been to lots in your life. Does it stir up a lot of memories for you? Is there maybe one that floods back to you the most when you get back into this atmosphere? Because it is totally different than just a single competition, right?
For sure. It feels, for me, being here feels a lot like a Canada Games, which I think a lot of these kids certainly our U18 skaters here will be gunning for next year in Red Deer, right? To make this kind of pre-games where they can practice things and learn stuff. For me, it brings back Canada Games memories for sure. Just being in towns across Canada, it's super fun. It's exciting to see how excited a lot of the kids are and how seriously they're taking it. I think it's really great to use these smaller competitions for all athletes, try to drum up a ton of nerves to practice for the bigger ones, and certainly being a medalist at a Manitoba Games as an athlete is a big deal.
It certainly is. I'm curious to see, I know you're with these athletes a lot. The buzz around the village for us is speed skating, speed skating, speed skating. It's crazy. We interviewed and talked to a lot of kids yesterday, and everybody wants to come and see it. When they see it live, it blows us away. Are these kids, do you think, as excited as everybody else to be here and to be in this competition outside the perimeter, which they don't do a lot, I don't think, right?
Well, they go to Brandon. I think that's as far as our skaters have gone within the province. Some of them went by bus down to Roseville, Minnesota, and some of them go to Calgary to race, and Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Quebec. My daughter, one of the twins, was in Quebec this year skating. Many of the skaters in the long track went to Quebec for the Canada age class. It's, I think for them, getting on a bus with a group of athletes that are from different sports, they get a different perspective. A lot of them still do other sports, so they can identify with them in those sports, and I think it's really important for them to learn camaraderie and teamwork and team spirit, cheering each other on. Those are all really important parts of growing up, and they're parts of what makes sport so wonderful for children, right? For kids to do, regardless of where they go with it. It's the learning that they get from it, and being in close quarters with they may not be your best friends, but they may be your teammates. You need to figure out a way to cooperate and get along and cheer them on and support each other. And I think that's super important. I think that's the biggest benefit of these multi-sport games.
I think we see it, like you say, with the speed skaters, but with all the other kids too, that you talk about it and you hear about it, and there's something special about multi-sport games and being in the village and being in that atmosphere. But until you get there, it doesn't really happen, right? And I mean, you've been to a lot of those. What message would you give to the kids that are spending some time here? They've got another day and a half here at the games. What's the message to them sort of about drinking in the experience?
Well, I would really recommend going and seeing other sports and cheering on your teams, because I don't think they realize the uniqueness of a Manitoba Games and getting the opportunity to get to see the other sports while they're also competing and get excited. I mean, I remember getting inspired by Eddie Podovinski in 1994 when he won his medal, and I never knew him. I didn't know who he was. He came out of the blue to win a medal, and because I watched him race, that downhill, and he won, I think, a bronze medal, made me think, okay, he came out of the blue, I can win a medal too, and I went on to win one. So the skaters get inspired by each other, and that's the biggest beauty of multi-sport games, for sure. And it's funny because we met with them at the beginning of the year this year, and I got the feeling that some of the older skaters kind of wondered why they should get excited about this, because they're racing the same people they race all year, but it means more when it's a games, when it's a games experience. It matters more. We saw that in the nerves yesterday. A lot of them have gotten it out today, and the expected athletes who won were the ones we expected to win. But it's great to see how nervous they got, and when they skate against the same people all the time in the same kind of scenario, you don't get that experience, and then they go somewhere big and they have to get the nerves out there. So doing it at a Manitoba Games is just awesome, I think.
Yeah, and we saw lots of different kids from different sports here watching, and we hope that they get out and check some of those out as well. We're going to give ourselves a little pat on the back here, I hope, but I want to ask you, our facility right here, we've got speed skating here, we've got girls hockey next door, wrestling is 2 steps away, curling's here. Have you been to a multi-sport games that was this tight? I don't think in Manitoba, but even at a Canada Games?
Well, in the northern communities, they try to do that often. In Corner Brook, it wasn't, it was a little further apart. They had buses. I was up in Yellowknife at the Canada Games and Grand Prairie, and they were much closer quarters. I think it's fantastic for the cafeteria and the sports to kind of be in such close quarters, because it does encourage the kids to go and see the other sports. And we had more of a crowd here than we have in most of our meets at home. So I think that alone is a really great experience for the skaters, to have people cheering for them when they go to the line.
People care.
It's a big deal. It's great outreach for our sport. And as CEO of Speedskating Canada, for me to come and experience a provincial games, which I've never done before, makes me wonder how we can use them to help promote the sports nationwide. And I know that Quebec uses their Quebec Games to promote the sport and build clubs in each of the towns they have the games in. So if we can do anything at all to help start up a speed skating club here in Thompson, we would do anything we can, for sure.
Here's hoping. I know it's caught the attention of everybody here, a lot more than we expected. The 2 surprises in our games were archery. You think that's boring? Go watch that. It is exciting, and not saying speed skating is boring at all, but this has absolutely been the buzz. Last one for you. You're commentating this. How did you get it? And I'm doing a phenomenal job. I love the little tidbits for the beginners, like just in case you're wondering, this is what their suits are about. This is what's going on in the race. This is why they're not going fast right now. How did you get into that sort of part of this game?
Elizabeth Dara, our executive director for Manitoba Speed Skating Association, asked me at one of the meets, well, would you announce? We need an announcer. And I've done a ton of commentary, obviously, with CBC and CTV for the games in Vancouver and just speed skating World Cups throughout my years. And it's a little different because the athletes can hear you. So you have to be a little more careful, especially when it's my children skating. I have to be a little bit unbiased and not say things that are going to kind of stump the athletes or make them too nervous or anything like that. So I've gotten braver and braver every time I've done it. Here I feel like I have some things to say, which is fun because I'm really assuming I'm speaking to an audience that has never seen the sport and needs to know what's going on in the sport. So
For the most
it's
part,
been pretty
true.
fun.
Absolutely guilty as charged.
It's been absolutely fun for me.
Super. Thanks so much for coming to Thompson. Thanks for helping out with our games, and best of luck for you and for speed skating in the future. Like I said, it's made a huge impact with us, so thanks again for coming. This is Play North, the Manitoba Games Show. The Manitoba Games are powered by Manitoba Hydro. Look for us on the web, www.manitobagames.ca, and #PlayNorth.
Thank you very much.